Hey there, welcome to The One Thing I Know For Sure, a podcast where we ask one powerful question in order to reveal deep insights and hopefully help you make some amazing transformations in your life. My name is Wendy Rosenthal, and I am your host and Chief Pathfinder at Pathfinder One to One, which is a transformation coaching practice where we take a first internal, then external approach to helping our clients really achieve their greatness, to overcome any challenges with ease and balance, and to achieve the things that they want to achieve in their life. I am very excited today to welcome a friend and a person that I have worked with very closely in the past. Welcome, Mariska Montgomery, to The One Thing I Know For Sure.
Thank you.
So happy to have you here today. Mariska is primarily a writer, but I also have to say she's an incredible creative human being who in a moment in her life where she really wanted to create something for herself, did so, a beautiful skincare line called Olive and M that focuses on bringing out not only the healthiness of your skin, but also to give back to Mother Earth. Everything is all natural, organic. It's a beautiful product, and I'm so glad that I've had the opportunity to work with Mariska on that. That's why I wanted to talk to Mariska, because she has such a unique perspective on life. So let's just jump in and ask you, what is the one thing that you know for sure, Mariska?
It was a tricky question, but after some deep contemplation, one thing I know for sure is I am and have to be my biggest fan.
I love that, by the way. I think people forget that a lot. So tell me why that's a very big aspect to how you see your life.
Well, some days are better than others at practicing what I preach. But if you are not loving yourself and supporting yourself and moving on from your mistakes and learning from your mistakes and cheering yourself on and not taking yourself so seriously and not beating yourself up, I mean, no one else is going to do this for you. So you have to be your biggest cheerleader. And I spent way too much time in my younger life being my biggest critic, and so
Mm.
I have flipped the narrative on that. And, when the critic shows up, just like when, ego shows up, they have a role to do. And hello, nice to see you. No, thank you. And I just moved back over to, the cheerleading spot and be my biggest fan.
I want to pick up on a couple of things that you said. You said that nobody else is going to do that for you. And why I want to pick up on that is because, of course, we do have people in our lives that are going to support us, that they're going to be excited for us when things happen. But I think it's a really powerful thought, even though it might sound a little negative. I think it's really powerful. Can you dive into that just for one more minute?
Well, I think it's just human behavior to sort of jump on the bandwagon of whatever the conversation is, if it's gossipy or if it's negative. But if it's positive and you're bragging about yourself, or it's sort of you're putting out a positive vibration, and everything is energy. So
Hmm.
if you're putting out a high vibe, positive energy of like, I can look at myself and I can yay myself on, then I think that that's infectious. Just like you can bring everybody down in a room, you can also lift them all up.
Yeah, it's so true. But also, for me, when you said that, it was kind of like, it takes expectation out. Sometimes we get disappointed if somebody isn't as supportive as we want them to be, right? And when you said that, I was like, well, you know what? It doesn't matter what the other people think. As
Mm.
long as I'm excited about what I'm doing and I have that clear vision and I'm bringing the energy, like you're saying, then for me, that feels almost like it releases me from so many disappointments or feeling like somebody didn't live up to my expectation.
Well, it does, and the critic is sneaky. You know, the critic can have you doing laundry instead of, doing your art, because the critic will tell you you're not good at that. So the critic can show up in so many different ways. So I think just always, yaying yourself on.
Love that.
It,
That needs to be a meme, Mariska. Yay yourself on.
it is, you have to flip the switch because I think society and expectation and, who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to be and people pleasing. I'm a recovering people pleaser, is all sort of how I was brought up anyway. So I really had to consciously catch myself and stop and, turn it around to no, I'm not, no, we don't do that anymore.
Right.
We're about self-love. We're about the mind body connection. We're about, eating good food so we can feel good in our bodies. And yeah, it's taken me a lot of years to get here.
Well, it sounds like it would be so simple to be your biggest fan, your own biggest fan. And yet, like you're saying, there's the critic that comes in and wants to kind of divert you from that thinking. I mean, can you give an example just to show people like when you have used that in a moment to either motivate you, or how has that mindset really helped you progress in an area of your life?
Well, I think with the people pleasing, I am a mother of two boys that are in their young 20s and just a sister. And, I'm in a relationship. And I think when we're always trying to act or meet expectations, and perhaps we don't, and we think that it's something that we did when it in fact has nothing to do with us.
Right.
Like one of my big things right now is like, that doesn't belong to me. That doesn't have anything to do with me. So I'm just going to go back and be my biggest fan because I was in a great mood until I walked into your weirdness.
Right.
So it's just being able to like compartmentalize things out.
Mm,
And also, I've learned that most of the time when you're trying to people please and you're trying to meet everyone's expectations, you're not meeting anyone's expectations and you're making everything way
right.
more blurry and way more messed up. And now everyone's in the swirl and yeah, no one's winning.
No one's winning. So, and I appreciate that. And I agree. It's like, it's so amazing how, first of all, I guess in my coaching, it's always for me about mindset and where your consciousness is and how you're looking at things and how you reframe situations. And so I really resonate with what you're saying in terms of stepping into a role that is being your biggest fan so that you have an opportunity to shift your mindset based on if I'm treating myself like I would treat somebody that I'm a fan to, what would I be doing right now? Are there any tips that you can give like that, where how you've incorporated that into a daily life practice?
Well, I think the response time, slowing down the response time has been really useful to me. Somebody told me a story once about if you poke an amoeba in a petri dish with a little needle point, it immediately reacts
Hmm.
because that it's just like a single cell. It's just like poke react, poke react. And so like we don't want to be that. We want to like when something is triggering or isn't about us or is not yaying us on or we're taking someone else's thing on that doesn't belong to us, it's like stopping and thinking, how am I going to respond to this? How am
Right.
I just going to walk away? Maybe sometimes that is, I love you, I'm going to walk away. um yeah, that I think maybe the response time.
I think that's a great tip. And I've seen that in a lot of practices where it's, just take a beat, take a
Oh,
breath,
mhm.
let something process. And if in that processing action, you can interject or inject into that processing action the idea that, hey, yay for me, or I'm going to yay me on. then you're probably going to step into the next few minutes of whatever that reaction is into such a different, in a different way, in such a different
And I think, whatever opportunity we get to teach children in our lives this, I
way.
mean, such valuable lessons that, they didn't teach in school. And I hated school personally, but I'm like, I would have much rather have learned this than algebra. I'm just saying.
I'll be on the same page with you on that one. Math, not my strong suit. I love it, but not my strong suit. So I hear you. Yeah, I think you're right. I think, anything that we can do to give kids a really practical, relevant tool that's going to help them in life, help them deal with all of life's ups and downs would be very beneficial. So I hope that anybody listening to this takes what you're saying and shares it with kids too. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Mhm.
Mariska, thank you so much. I really resonate with this, and I hope that people listening are going to yay for themselves more often. It's going to be your new brand.
Yay yourself on.
Yay yourself on. I love it. Can you let us know, first of all, are you doing anything interesting that you want to share with the world, and maybe tell us where people can find you if they're interested in talking to you more about this or anything else you do?
Well, I'm on Instagram at Mariska Nicholson, and that is really my only channel right now. I'm living out in Joshua Tree in the desert, making art and writing a book. So to be continued, stand by. Hopefully, I'll have an update by the end of the year.
Well, that would be wonderful. And when you do have an update, please come back because
Mhm.
maybe you will have learned something else insightful that you want to share with us and tell us more about your book.
Totally. I would love to. Thank you so much, Wendy. Thank you for having me. It's always lovely to see you.
Oh, thank you. And if you're interested in learning more about our coaching system and how we work with clients to help them step into their greatness, you can find us at www.pathfinder1to1.com. Also, you can find this and all of our other content on our social media platforms from Spotify to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram at Pathfinder1to1. Please like, share, subscribe all around. And if this really has resonated with you, we'd love to hear your comments about how you might use this amazing insight in your daily life. And we look forward to any comments that you have. Have an awesome, yay filled day.